That's like my favorite part because I don't get to see you guys that often. Great. Okay. Here we go. So tonight's June On Track School Presents is presenting Haiden Deegan. And I don't know that Haiden needs much of an introduction. I'm most proud that Haiden is an On Track student and has been since 8th grade. 2 career AMA Pro Motocross championships and 250 podiums, 3 career Monster Energy AMA Supercross championships, 250 Supercross East podiums, and 2023 AMA Rookie of the Year. So Haiden, we are really excited that you're taking time out of your busy schedule tonight to meet with your classmates and to meet with me and some of your learning coaches here to support you. And we're really excited to hear your story, and have you share some of your insights of being an on-track student, being where you are right now in your life, and how it all came together. So welcome.
Yeah, thank you. It's going to be fun. Definitely a lot to go over.
Awesome. We'll get going with these great pictures that you sent in. So here you are racing at a young age, and this is just so adorable. I love this. Maybe you can just give us a little bit of history of where these photos are from.
Yeah, I rode dirt bikes for a while since, I started at 3 years old and then all the way till 7 years old, just doing non-racing stuff. And then from 7 years old, I started racing. And I remember, first year at Loretta's, there's Ponca right there when I was my first year on a junior 50. And just me and my friends, me and Dax, we're now on the same team as well. We've both been on the same team, KTM Orange Brigade, since we were both 7. And now we're on the same team, Star Race Yamaha. And we're both 17. So we're kind of gone together.
So are you telling me that's you and Dax down on the bottom there under the Loretta Lynn sign?
Oh, no, that's me and Ryder DeFrancisco. I mean, we race each other now, but we're not teammates.
Yeah, that's right. I should have recognized Ryder, and also a graduate from last year. That's very cool. Mm-hmm. What's your first memory of racing, Haiden? And how did that happen? How'd you get started?
I definitely say my first year at Loretta's, I think it was either 6 or 7, one of those. And I remember I was on a junior 50. I had like no expectations. It was my first year there. And the first moto, I remember that's the only memory I have of racing little bikes was I remember going around a sweeper, that long sweeper, and I went in the sand and did a front flip. And then got back up, got to 8th, and then the next moto, I won the next moto. And I think my family were like going crazy because they were all surprised that I was able to do that my first year at Loretta's. So that's my only memory, though, is going over the bars in my first moto ever at Loretta's.
I bet everybody was excited because going to Loretta's, first of all, is a great accomplishment in itself and really difficult. So I have to say, I love the smile on your face in that first photo there, already on the mic at such a little age, such a young age. Very cool. Okay, next slide. When did things start to get serious? So now we know like when you got the bug and, when you started racing and your first memory, but when did it get serious?
I'd say from 7 years old when I started racing, it was always serious for my parents. They were kind of all serious into it, but I didn't really, shoot until I'd say the end of 65s and the beginning of 85s is when I like actually started training like with a trainer and started like taking it serious and trying to win every race. And then super minis, end of super minis, that was kind of like a point where I was going to go to 250. So obviously you kind of have to go out there and perform to get that 250 ride. So definitely, super minis, that's when it got really serious. And end of 65s was kind of when I started taking it serious to get a trainer and really start pushing to win.
Right. And having a trainer, that does take it to a whole nother level because then you're really accountable to somebody else. You're following a training schedule. And I'm curious, like, were you able to keep it fun while things were getting serious?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a wild kid, so I like to go do other stuff besides just a ride. And we definitely mix it up a lot. I mean, my trainers, they were never like, you can't do this, you got to just ride, you just got to train. I'd always go to the skate park, I'd ride my pit bike, I'd do a lot of other just normal kid stuff. And all the way up until all the way until I was like 14, I believe it was, or 13, I went to normal school as well. So just a normal private school. And I mean, just did normal kids things as well. And then, yeah, when it got more serious, that's when I got with On Track and just did the homeschooling program.
Awesome. Very good. Yeah. At that point, you kind of have to have a customized program
Yeah.
that'll go with you. But I'm really glad that you have those other things that make you happy, that you can go goof off and do all those things.
Yeah.
Okay. Next slide. Family life. Well, this is kind of my favorite part. I mean, it all comes together, right? So tell us about your family.
Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty sure. I mean, most of you guys would know my dad. He's the one that kind of raised me into motocross since he did it from a young age. He did freestyle. I mean, he started off racing supercross, motocross. What I'm doing now, he started off just the normal motocross and supercross route. Also won a supercross race, and then from there went to freestyle and made like a little group and the Metal Militia and all those guys. And then I think that was where his rowdy years. And then once he started having kids, he tamed it back a lot. But yeah, he had my sister. They raised her to do cars. She's super good. She does a NASCAR Truck Series now. And then yeah, they had me, and they didn't want me to race dirt bikes because they didn't want me to get hurt like my dad, because my dad got injured a lot. But yeah, my dad took me to ride at a practice track one day, and from there, my mom wasn't happy about it, but from there, I just loved it. My dad loved it, like loved taking me to the track, and it kind of just clicked from there. And then yeah, they had my brother as well. My brother, he's not as serious as me or my sister. He's just kind of mess around, play video games, ride every here and there, and just do like go to skate park and stuff. He doesn't take like the dirt bike thing as serious as we did. I mean, he's just different. He just doesn't really want to take it like that. He just wants to go have fun as a little kid. So that's kind of his way.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I was telling our people that were joining last night when your dad was presenting for Road to Recovery that I watched that movie Bloodline. And I love the backstory of your family. And I think it continues to resonate today, right? I mean, our backstory projects our future, and your dad's story and being able to be there as a leader for you, I think is really, really important. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like that's
Yeah.
a great relationship and the story has helped you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my dad knows shoot almost everything. I mean, he's taught me almost a lot of the stuff I know riding amateurs and mini bikes, and he's always there. He's always been there for me at every race, always pushing me too. He's not a dad that's just gonna let me get by if I don't do good. He's like, you got to put more work in, or if you don't win, and you should have win, you should. He's like, you just got to put more work in and put more work in. And he's never been a dad to just let me slide. So he's I mean, he's not, I wouldn't say he's tough on me, but he definitely pushes me to where I got to work hard and not give up on my goals. And I mean, shoot,
Right.
you've seen that. I mean, obviously from when he was a little kid, he didn't really come from much. His dad was a school summit, a teacher or something. He was just a kid that went to school and wanted to chase a dream of racing dirt bikes, and he had to chase his goals too. So he definitely has taught me to chase my goals.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. I think every professional rider has somebody in their corner that is pushing them, and helping to set goals. And I think that's really important. And a lot of the webinars that we've had it On Track, we've had coaches come in and mental health coaches come in and talk about setting goals. So I'm really proud of you for doing that, Hayden. That's fantastic. Are there any
Yeah.
other pictures on here that you want to highlight about your family or tell a story about?
Let me see. Oh yeah, I have one down here when if you could see, I was really little, sitting on the front of my dad's bike. When I was little, my mom set me out in one of those high chair things that you can't get out of, like when you're a little baby, so you don't like squirm out of it or whatever. And she'd set me at the edge of the grass on top of a hill, and I would just sit there hours and watch my dad hit ramps with all his buddies. And for literally, I mean, shoot, I'd be out there for up to 3 hours just sitting out there watching my dad hit ramps. And I honestly think that's that was one of the main parts that got me into like, I want to ride. I want to be a dirt bike racer is when I was watching them, such a little kid, watching that kind of imprinted it in my brain.
That's a cool story. I
Yeah.
love that. Oh, those are great photos. I think they're awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing those. Okay, next photo. Life off the track. So we talked about this a little bit. You still like to be a kid. You still like to do fun and, do fun things and do different things and mix them up. So tell us about this.
Yeah, definitely. Life off the track, I'd say. I mean, shoot, that's like where I keep it fun. I also have a lot of fun racing and stuff, but when you want, I mean, I'm 17, so also I got to go like, I want to get out and go live my life as a kid. And yeah, BMX, I go to the skate park quite a bit during the week. It's just kind of like my getaway, and I go do what I was like growing up doing, riding BMX and stuff. And it kind of just lets me get a little free. And then I also that was my first football game. I enjoyed that a lot. I enjoy watching sports in person, not over the TV, but when I go watch like football in person or like a baseball game, like I enjoy that. And then, yeah, also I'm really big into like some hobbies of like collecting shoes and stuff. So that's where, I mean, a lot of my win money goes towards is collecting shoes. And yeah, this guy made me some custom ones. So I definitely have some hobbies outside of racing dirt bikes.
I love those hobbies. I have to ask where the name Danger Boy came from. Did it have anything to do with the skate park?
Yeah, I think it was close to that kind of. I mean, my dad, the story he told me at least was all his buddies, yeah, all his buddies were together, and I think I was outside of our house and they set up like a ramp or something, and I hit the ramp. I either jumped one of his buddies or something, and I was jumping it when I was a little kid, either on a BMX bike or a 50, something super small, and I think one of his buddies was just like, we should name him Danger Boy, or we should give him a nickname Danger Boy. And that's kind of where it clicked, is when I just started sending little ramps when I was little.
And then that was it. Thought you were
Yeah,
hooked on one.
no, yeah.
Oh, those are what football team did you go see? Wait a minute. I should know. Is that the Chargers?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. All right. And it's very fun to go watch that in person, I think.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was my first football game.
That's cool. Okay, so balancing school and motocross and actually graduating early with all the things going on in your life, your family's life. I have to say, Haiden, I'm really proud of you, because when your mom came over and your grandmother came over and we were talking about school, I mean, being an honor roll student was something that was really important to your mom. Making sure that you had everything that you needed and that you were going to have support. And here we are, and you did it.
Yeah.
So tell us how you did it.
Yeah, it's definitely racing motocross and training takes up all of your time during the day. So, I mean, obviously that's why On Track is a homeschool program for riders and athletes and people that do sports. And that's why when we chose On Track, it was the best platform for me for off, like, besides going to normal school. And I mean, yeah, shoot, every day I ride a lot. So On Track really helped with like days that I wasn't riding or after I rode, to fit in school and make the program fit around my riding schedule. So that's what's been great about On Track.
Awesome. Well, that's very, very cool. Is that a kindergarten graduation outfit that
Yeah.
you've on with your mom?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I like that. That's good. That's good. And that is just this year at Daytona. All right. Next slide. Rookie of the year. I mean, what do you think about that, Haiden? I mean, it all came so quick, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's pretty incredible. I mean, shoot, being on like racing amateurs just less than a year ago at Minios to winning or a Moto Pro National and podium supercrosses and getting rookie of the year. It kind of just shows you, once you get locked in, you got to like focus and you got to start getting like striving towards those goals that you have. I write down all my goals, so like I know, like every time I leave my room in the morning, I read them and I make sure like we got to get these, we got to get these, we got to check these off. And, for the Supercross season, I had all my goals and I was able to check off all of them. Before the season, first moto, I was like, let's just get a top 10. And then I got fourth at the first round. And it just shows what hard work pays off as well. And goals, having that in your mind is a big step, because when you're at the track and stuff, you got to have something to work towards. So I definitely, it's definitely been a big goal of mine to get Rookie of the Year the first year as well.
Yeah. And, you mentioned that a couple of times, and your dad mentioned that too. And it's not only important to have a goal, but like you said, to write it down, to read it, to keep writing it down, to read it, and then actually put it into play and have that hard work pay off for you. So how many years have you actually been writing down goals?
I'd say just recently, like just last year, I've started writing them down. And I've always had my 2-year goals. Like, I want to win Loretta's this many times, or I want to try and go win all my motos at Minios, or I pick goals like that and I get ready. Like before the race, I'll write down those goals or think of those goals and try to push towards those for the race. But it's just been recently, now that I'm in a full schedule of racing every weekend, is when I've had to write down my goals for each round, and just like what I want to accomplish by the end of the season, what I want to accomplish first round. And it's just recently as I started writing them down, just to, keep focusing on them every morning.
Well, I think that's something that everybody here tonight and everybody listening can really see how important that is, right? I mean, writing down goals and actually watch them happen. I do that too. I mean, I write down goals for on track school, for personal, and it's really nice when you could go back and say, oh my gosh, I did those, right? They actually happen.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say so too. I wrote down my goals to I wrote down goals on my list that I thought were this is not possible almost, if I'm going to work as hard as I can to try and achieve it, but it's almost at the verge of it, is impossible. And writing those down, working hard, I was able to achieve all of them. So just I think writing your goals down is a big key in success in racing, because you want to be able to target those.
Yeah, well, congratulations for that. They definitely paid off for you.
Thanks.
What do we have next? Oh my goodness, we're already at Q&A. So this is the time we've got to be really careful about using our chat. I know we've got almost 60 people here, and we've got, some time to ask some really good questions. So we can take off the slideshow, and if you want to see everybody up on the top, you can click gallery view. That's kind of fun, or speaker view. And I want us to use the chat, and we will either call on you or read the question. It's a perfect opportunity to ask Haiden some questions. And don't be shy. Everybody's speechless.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got
any questions.
They're coming in. So Braden, would you like to come off mute and ask your classmate a question?
Just thinking about it.
Okay, I'm going to read it for you. No problem, Braden. His question is, what is the biggest race you've attended?
Biggest race I've attended was definitely my first Supercross. I mean, the whole Supercross season is big, but the first one, that was the most eye-opening to me, going in front of the stadium, in front of all the fans. And it definitely puts you into shock at the first Supercross race. So I'd say that was my biggest one.
Yeah, I would have to say that's a great answer. It's a little bit different, right? When you go out there in a stadium with 80,000 people and everybody's saying, oh, just go out there like it's practice, right?
Yeah, the nerves definitely go up a lot, and the crowd's yelling your name and stuff. It definitely puts some nerves on you.
Yeah, and I will have to say, as a parent, it also puts you in an interesting place. When I went out there watching Michael for the first time, I was a little
Yeah.
Okay, we've got Ethan Holland. Would you give me a thumbs up if you want to read your question, or just come off mute, Ethan? He's thinking about it too. So I'm going to go ahead and read it. Oh, go ahead, Ethan.
What was your favorite activity?
We don't have that great of a signal, so I'm going to repeat that for you, Ethan. Haiden, he wants to know, what is your favorite track as an amateur? What was your favorite amateur track?
My favorite amateur track, I'd say, was springading. That was my favorite. The Moto Playground springading race, the big jumps and stuff were fun on a super mini. So my favorite amateur track was springading. I don't know, it's called underground, but the race is springading. So yeah, underground.
Oh, very cool. That's one that I have not been to, but our team's been there.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Farmer. Would you like to ask, or I will read it for you? Okay, I'm going to read it. Why do you wear a chest protector over your jersey?
The chest protector over the jersey, that's kind of a team thing. That was like the OG look for my team, was run the chest protector outside the jersey. So that's kind of, I mean, our whole team's doing it. So it's kind of just a team thing to run the chest protector outside the jersey. But I do switch it up sometimes, like at the really hot races. If you have your chest protector over, it kind of traps the heat in. So yeah, only at the races that aren't 100 degrees, we run them on the outside.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
For Ethan, I'm going to read this. How do you stay motivated? That's a really good question, Ethan.
Yeah, definitely staying motivated. It's just exactly like writing down those goals and reading them every morning. Say you may not achieve the first one that you write down, but checking those every morning and reading those is how you stay motivated, for me at least. And I mean, whenever I'm training and working, just thinking of the outcome that will happen if you put in more work than everyone, and if you're putting in the work. So staying motivated, just basically reading your goals and thinking of the outcome of how this training will pay off.
Yeah, that goes hand in hand with your goals. That makes a lot of sense. Zaya, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but I'm going to read these because I see some of our internet connections a little touch and go. So, have you ever raced out of the country?
No, unfortunately, I haven't raced out of the country. Won my first title at Loretta's on a 65. My dad promised me he'd take me to Australia if I won my first title at Loretta's, and that was going to be my time to go to Australia, but we didn't end up going. So no, I've never left the country. I've only stayed in America.
I have a feeling it's not going to be long.
Yeah, I really want to. I want to go out of the country. I want to go to Australia really bad. If we have some buddies out there, and Australia looks really cool, go meet some kangaroos.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Australia looks amazing. It's very big, though. It's a very big
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a couple of questions from YouTube. We've got some YouTube live questions coming in. What are your intentions going into High Point?
Basically, I mean, last weekend wasn't the greatest. We were struggling a little bit with my suspension and stuff, so we did a lot of work this week to get that better. And intentions, just like any other race, is try and whole shot. We worked really hard on starts this week, so yeah, the goals are always the whole shot, get a good start, and just push to the end. And yeah, just never give up, no matter what the outcome is.
Great answer, Haiden. Here's one from Cooper. He says, is it too late to start riding and be competitive at 16?
I don't think so at all. There's a lot of the guys in the 250 class that are late 20s. There's even some that run it to 30s. I mean, any age, yeah, 16 is still, I mean, a great age if you start getting into it now to start training. And if you get with the right trainers and stuff, and you start training hard, and you start even on your own program, there's a lot of trainers online, like the Moto Academy and stuff. There's just there's training programs that you can follow. And yeah, I mean, 16 is never too late. And if you start now, yeah, just start training now, put some hard work in, and I'm sure you can get there.
All right. Good questions. I'm impressed with these questions. How about you?
Yeah, there's some good ones.
Here's one from Landon. Do you like Supercross better or motocross?
Yeah, that's a hard one because I always go between my mind. I'm like, sometimes I like Supercross a little more, sometimes I like motocross a little more. I definitely say I do enjoy Supercross because the fans, when you like get a hole shot and you're leading the first lap, the stadium is just roaring, and that's an awesome feeling. But outdoor nationals, I like that too, because it's just like you just got to have the grit to finish the whole 35-minute moto strong. And that I love that. I love the competition, and I love the strength you have to finish those motos and the hard work you have to put in. So motocross and supercross, I equally like them the same.
Awesome. You're ready for whatever life throws you, huh?
Yeah, basically.
Caleb wants to know, and a lot of these kids race Loretta's, so this is a really good question, and you've had a lot of experience there. What's your best advice about racing Loretta's?
Yeah, racing Loretta's, that's the number one national everyone wants to try to get to as an amateur. And yeah, I've raced it many times. I've won 7 titles there, so I've had great experience. And Loretta's, there's quite a bit of motos, so it's just staying consistent and being good at your starts. You got to practice your starts off the races at the practice track and bust those out daily. After you do your motos, just do 10 starts, just to make sure you have those dialed in for when you race. And yeah, you got to have good starts at Loretta's and be consistent. And the motos are a little longer there as in any other amateur race. So you have to also not give up.
Are you guys paying attention? Are you guys taking notes on these great answers from Haiden, who's got that experience? Okay, just making sure you're doing your homework down there. I think we've kind of answered that one. Who was your favorite rider growing up? That's a tough one.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good one. I always looked up to Ryan Dungey a lot. I had his jersey in my room since I was a little kid, and I always enjoyed watching him, how smooth he was and how sometimes easy he could make the races look and win them. So Ryan Dungey was definitely at the top. And watching back on old clips, I loved the Ricky Carmichael, James Stewart era when they're always battling. So Ricky Carmichael, James Stewart, and Ryan Dungey were my 3 favorites.
That's great. And do you go back and watch some of those old races?
Yeah, I do. I go on YouTube whenever I'm a little bored. I go watch those guys race, and it's definitely super entertaining. They used to send it pretty hard back then.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing to look at that and then look at what's going on today. But those were great races. I can remember watching those live.
Yeah.
What's your diet? We really didn't talk too much about diet, but what is your diet?
Yeah, my diet, I obviously try to keep it fairly healthy and good because at this top level, you have to stay in shape very well. So, yeah, mornings, I usually just eat eggs and avocado and some fruit. That's kind of it. And then lunch, I usually just go get a sandwich, or I make this it's kind of like a Chipotle bowl. Not at Chipotle, there's another place here. It's a little better than that. And yeah, just make like a bowl with some chicken, rice, vegetables. And then dinner is usually just chicken, rice. And my mom usually switches it up sometimes if she's out here making dinner. But yeah, basically just I try to keep it pretty clean because no, I don't eat much candy, although I love candy. Our family has a pretty bad sweet tooth, I'll say that. And I do sneak in some candy every here and there, but I do try to keep it pretty clean.
Very good. It's excellent. Got to have a little sweet here and there, but
Yeah.
just a little.
Yeah.
Ruby wants to know, do you get butter? And she's an ambassador like you are.
Do I get what?
Do you get butterflies or nervous before you race?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely do, especially being the rookie and having some people have expectations and the pressure. You got to be able to level that. So being on the line, especially the weekend before, if you were to podium around, you expect yourself naturally to be like, all right, I'm going to try and podium this round or do better. So on the line, I definitely get a little bit of butterflies and nerves. But for some reason, like the 3 minutes we're sitting there is when I get the butterflies and nerves. But instantly when like we get ready, like the card goes up, it goes away. So I just try to think about it going away. And but when the
Yeah.
gate drops, it's race time, so that all goes away.
Yeah, that's great. That's really good. So there could be good butterflies, right? There's pressure that makes you nervous, but then there's butterflies that, like what you just said, when it starts, they're gone. And that's a
Yeah,
good place to
exactly.
be.
Just the
Yeah.
before race butterflies.
Yeah, that's good. I was going to ask you a question. How do you deal with the pressure, because you seem like you deal with it really well. And maybe you have some tips for us on how to deal with pressure like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, pressure, especially being at this level that we're at in pros, and everyone has their opinion and how they want to, like, they picture you at this race, picture at this race, and they want to have a comment about everything you've done, everything you did. So it's basically just ignoring the people that are trying to like say anything negative and taking the positives from the people that are saying stuff positive. And yeah, just, I mean, kind of pushing that and ignoring, like, just trying to focus on your goals is the main thing. That's kind of what I look to, and don't let anyone else imprint anything in your head, and just focus on what you want to go chase, and just continue to chase that.
That is really excellent advice, Hayden. And I feel like you've learned so much at a young age to be able to do that, because to be able to focus on the positive and let the negative go is a skill that not everybody is able to do so well. So kudos to you. That's fantastic.
Thanks.
Bentley, another on track ambassador, has a question. Was it hard being a kid and being a pro? I mean, I know you don't maybe feel like a kid, but you're still a kid.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah,
pro.
definitely. Yeah, yeah, 100%. Being on the line, you're like, you're at this age, it's like you're lined up next to like dudes like Hunter Lawrence that have been in the class for 4 years, or your RJ Hampshire, they've been there for like 7 years. Dudes that are like in their late 20s, and you're like, these dudes are like grown men, and I'm still like a kid. I haven't grown into my man body yet, and I'm still just a kid lined up next to these guys, and I got to go race them. It is eye-opening though. It's like it eye opens you to what hard work can do if you keep grinding and stuff, where it can get you so soon. But I mean, yeah, definitely, it's definitely pretty cool being young and racing.
Yeah, you're going to grow up fast, but I think you've got so much positive support behind you that it's going to pay off like everything else. So
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
great.
Thanks.
You ready for a few more questions, Hayden? They're flowing in from YouTube. I can switch
Yeah,
gears a little.
yeah, 100%.
Okay. Christian Arnett, what's the best way to get sponsors? That's a great question, Christian.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. This new era right now, it's big that we do social media, YouTube, Instagram, and you got to stay active on all those, keeping everyone that follows you, even if you have 100 followers, 1,000 followers, up even more than that, you still, all those people are watching you, and you got to show them what your daily life is. And I mean, your training, you got to keep them up to date. So just kind of keeping everyone in tune to everything is kind of the best way.
It's a busy life, right? Keeping
Yeah.
on top of all the things that we're talking about, training and dealing with the pressure positively, and having time for yourself and eating right, all those things.
Yeah, definitely.
Brad MX 144 says, do you think Hudson will ever race professionally?
You never know. I know a lot of like brothers in the sport that they both raced, that the brother didn't start until later when he was older. And I mean, it's always possible. Maybe something clicks in his head where he's like, I want to race. Like, this is what I want to do. Like, dad, take me to the track. I want to ride. But right now, I don't think he's just living his kid life. I don't think that's clicked in his head, where at such a young age, me and my dad were going to the track, and it kind of clicked for me where I just wanted to ride. And but yeah, you never know. It might click for him. As of now, though, he's still just messing around as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, we love him too. What is your favorite outdoor race? Asked by Maddie.
My favorite outdoor race, I have to say, going off of the one I like the most, not the track wise, but where I got my first moto win was definitely I think Hangtown. That's got to be one of my favorites. It was a good track, honestly. That was a fun track. Hangtown's definitely on top, and then Fox Raceway. That's definitely one of my favorites too. That's where I grew up riding. Grew up near there, 30 minutes from that track. So Fox Raceway and Hangtown are at the top right now.
Very cool. Daniel Creekmore on YouTube. Have you ever thought about, once you succeed your dreams of winning every national, would you consider leaning toward the freestyle side of motocross?
Yeah, as a kid, I was always, around the freestyle guys. I watched that growing up every day. And it was just, it never really like clicked for me where I was like, oh, I'm gonna go hit ramps and do tricks. It was just never my thing. I always just was a racy kid and I just wanted to win. That was my thing. I just wanted to win races as a kid. And that's all I thought about was racing people and trying to win. Even at school, I was always wanted to be the first one done. In like first, second, third grade, I was always one of the first done to finish my writing paper or be the first one to the teacher to talk to them or just anything like that. It was just kind of what my goals were as a kid. That was my mindset. So, yeah, shoot, basically.
Yeah. Very good. I'm looking at all these questions. How many times do you need to ride a week on your training program?
During season, when we're racing every weekend, we only ride twice a week. During like off season though, we ride 3 to 4 days. But those other days that we have off, like in between, we'll do cycling those days and gym. And then on the days we ride, we also mix in gym every here and there. But the only days we have off is Sunday. That's kind of our one recovery day. That's usually when I'm at the skate park. So yeah, but we don't have much time off. So basically riding 3 to 4 days a week if we're not during season. And then during racing season, it's usually only 1 to 2.
That's really cool to know, because I think, we've had conversations in some of our webinars about overtraining when we've had certain trainers come on. And I think it's really a great idea that you're riding. I'm not a trainer, disclaimer. But I think it's a great idea that you're only riding 2 days a week and giving yourself some time, to restore
during the races, you want to keep fresh for the weekend. You want to make sure you have that, because you build up to the race season. That all that build up is pushing your body to the limits, training 4 days a week. And then when it comes race time and you're doing your 2 days a week, you're able to recover quicker and race better.
Yep. Very good. Here's one from Brad. Now that you have graduated from high school, well, that's coming, right? It's coming very soon. We're almost there. Are you planning to pursue any further education or professional development outside of racing?
Yeah, that's definitely a big thing with people, is the college route or start your own business, or you're an athlete and you do your sports. But for now, everything's going well right now. So I'm going to stay racing dirt bikes. And now that I'm going to graduate high school, nothing after that. Just focus on my goals in racing and trying to win championships and races.
Got it. You're focused.
Yeah.
We have a mom, Nikki. She's a mom of an on-track student, and she's got a really good question about overcoming injuries and being able to stay positive and get back on the bike. Do you have any advice for her?
Yeah, injuries, that's the worst part of the sport. You got to be able to overcome that and know that when the injury's done, that you're going to work harder and you're going to, in your mind think, after this injury, like the goal is to get back on the bike and train hard so I can get back to the top and start, trying to compete for podiums, wins, or even, top fives, wherever your skill level is at that point. But yeah, injuries, it's just trying to keep a positive mind. And whenever the last time I got hurt, it was kind of like, how soon could I get back on the bike? That was in my head mainly. And I'd say a lot of things now to these days, though, to make sure you're not getting injured, you have to focus a lot on technique because racing, it's definitely at this high level. We're pushing our limits, and it's easy if we're not perfect with our technique for it to bite us and crash. Like we see with, many riders in the pros. There's guys that are in this 250 class for a long time just because of constant injuries and just little things that bite them. And definitely watching technique though and stuff. Like I honestly, he may not be the fastest guy to watch, but watching AJ Catanzaro with his technique he has the safest technique to riding that will keep your rider safe. So yeah, having good technique is definitely the safest way. But obviously injuries happen. You're gonna crash. It's just a part of the sport. And just trying to be positive and stay confident and have your goals so that while you're in your injury that like when I'm done with this, when I'm healed up, I'm gonna keep working hard towards these.
That's a great answer. I think that technique can alleviate a lot of situations. And when you're working with a really good trainer and you're working on those things, and yes, AJ's got a lot to share on that. So thank you for that question. And thank you for that answer. I'm going to call on Gage Butler. He's got his hand up over there, and that way we can hear from an on-track student. Gage, what would you like to ask Haiden?
What dirt bike games do you play?
It's a good one. I do play some games. I play MX Sim on my PC, Supercross 6. I like playing the Supercross games. A few years ago, I was kind of into the Supercross 3 game, and then my PC broke, so I lost my account. But that kind of sucks. But yeah, I play MX Sim on my PC and some Supercross 6.
Nice. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Gage. I appreciate that. I love how you raised your hand. Anybody else want to raise your hand and ask a question? Katie. Let's hear from you, Katie.
Hi. How was like the transition from super mini to big bike?
Yeah, it's definitely a big transition going from a little bike to a bigger bike. It's hard, obviously, being little on a 250. But we took the transition slow. We went from the super mini, we rode the 125 for a while. I never really raced the 125 much, but it was kind of a slow transition. So when I got into the 250, I was ready for the size. And it was just starting things slow to make sure you don't get injured on such a fast bike starting off soon. And just, taking your time.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you for joining us tonight. How about you, Brooklyn?
How did you ever recover, build up your confidence to get back on the track from a crash or injury?
Yeah, like I said, just like trying to, have your goals written down and focus on those so that the whole time, while you're injured and recovering, you're still wanting something. You're still wanting to chase your goals, or you have your yearly goal and you got to make sure you don't defeat those and you got to keep pushing towards this. So definitely with injury, you want to have some goals written down.
I think goals are really important in staying positive for sure.
Yeah.
We're going to take a couple more questions, you guys, because I know that we're keeping Haiden, and I'm going to switch over to some of our YouTube questions here. We've got a question here from Christian. I just have to ask it. You'll know why after I ask it. What's the best online schooling program?
The one and only On Track School. It's the best one. It's the best. It fits your program. It's great.
I didn't prompt that, I promise.
No, it's good. It's true.
I guess we have a lot of people watching on YouTube, so that's really exciting.
That's good.
Well, I just have to say, when our son was racing, and I'm sure you know the story, I didn't know we were going to be traveling around the country. I thought we were going to ride bikes in our backyard and race in California and not go to Tennessee and Oklahoma. And so I was really surprised that the school wouldn't work with us. And I'm a teacher. And to his dad and I, it was important that our kids had good education. So it's exciting to be here 18 years later and be talking to you, and knowing that it helped you. So thank you for that answer. And thank you, Christian. for asking that question. There are other on-track questions coming from YouTube. From Joel, what's the biggest change you saw before and after being on the program? Like when you were in school, as opposed to when you came to On Track, what was the biggest thing that changed for you personally?
I'd say, I mean, shoot, the biggest thing was going from a normal schooling to a schooling online. Was I was able to focus on racing. I was able to focus on my training and having a program that could fit around my schedule, or even a program that's not taking up your day from when you wake up till your 4 p.m. when you like a normal school day, and being fortunate enough to have a program that you're able to train, do your work, and then do your school. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, very good. Okay. Tanner Payton is with us. What would you like to ask, Tanner?
Who's your favorite teammate?
It's a little hard to pick favorites because I'm sure they might see this or I'll be riding with them, but there's definitely, I mean, there's a few guys that, obviously I enjoy riding with the fast guys on the team. There's a lot of them. We got a lot of guys on our team, and each guy has their own thing that you can learn from. Justin Cooper, he's definitely known for his sprint speed. He can lay down some pretty fast laps, so you can learn from that. You can learn from, Nate Thrasher on Supercross. There's multiple guys on the team you can keep learning from. So I enjoy having all of them.
I think that's a really fair answer. It is really hard to pick favorites, but you know what? You've got some great teammates and you've got a great team.
Yeah, they
So
are.
yeah, I'm sure. I think that's a great answer. Great job. Let's see. I'm going to choose 2 more questions, Hayden, and we're going to let you go.
Okay.
Here's one from Frederic. He's a parent and he wants to know, and I know you have to be politically correct. Do you prefer KTM or Yamaha?
Okay. Yeah. I was on KTM since I started racing at 6 or 7 and all the way up till I got on a 250. So, I mean, KTM played a big part in my career. Obviously they were supporting me a lot. And then I got to a point where before I turned pro and the end of amateurs, where it was like, you have to pick the best training program and the best bike and stuff. And for me, at least, for what fitted me the best, and that was Yamaha. But again, I mean, each brand is at the top of level, and it's just kind of up to the rider to put in the work. As long as you're putting in the work and doing what you need to do with your trainer and staying focused, I think, any bike's good.
You do very well interviewing. Has anybody told you that yet?
Yeah, maybe a couple of people.
You must have gone to a really good school.
Yeah, did.
Joe Blanco put a quote down here from James Stewart, number 7. And I really like this quote, and I want to ask you what you think about it. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. What does that mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically, it's targeting like what I said at the beginning was, your training, and you have your goals and you got to push yourself to the limits, knowing that, you have to try and achieve them. And that's kind of when the uncomfortable part, that's the uncomfortable part, is putting in the work and working harder than everyone, you have to accept that. And then, after that, you keep putting in the work. That's where the comfort comes out of it, obviously showing results and stuff.
Yeah, I love that. I love that that James Griffin Joel Blanco put that out there, because I always tell people, whether I'm counseling or working with the team at On Track School or my own kids or my husband, if it's uncomfortable, go there. Someone said that to me a long time ago and I didn't know what that meant, but I do now, because if you push yourself to a place where you're a little uncomfortable, you will grow. Right.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people think that you get somewhere in life because it was always easy. And I know that's not the case. It's not the case with you. It's not the case with anybody. You have to fail in order to get ahead. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. Nothing's easy if you're trying to get to a top level as well. Racing pros, it's definitely there's nothing easy about it. It's definitely, and I mean, shoot, doing good at some races and stuff, it breaks you down. But again, you have your goals and you gotta be able to overcome that and be like, I still want to chase this. I still want to like achieve this. And I mean, yeah, basically that's kind of the main point.
Yeah. Well, I love that it resonates with you too, Hayden. I'm just so excited to see, where your future continues to go. I know that our on-track students are going to be cheering you on every step of the way. I'm sure they'd want to stay on here another hour, but I want to be really respectful of your time. I want to thank you so much and ask you, do you have any closing thoughts, comments? What did you think about this or whatever that you want to share with us before we let you go?
Yeah, I mean, definitely just to touch on basically the schooling. It's great for if you're doing motocross or any sports outside of doing a normal school. It's the best program. And definitely all these younger kids, you guys want to have your goals written down and try and achieve those and also save some time for your on-track school.
No, I love that. Well, I'm excited for you. I love what you had to share. I loved that you write down your goals and you're checking them off, and you put some audacious goals on there too that you're not even like sure about, but
Yeah.
you're reaching them. And I know you're going to continue to reach them, Hayden. And I can't wait to come and watch you race at one of these events. So
Yeah.
thank you, everybody. I know. Go ahead, Hayden. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, you're good. You can go. I was just saying thank you.
Oh, you bet. I know we didn't get to call on everybody, and I know that you're going to be disappointed, but I hope that you understand that's a long time for, to keep Hayden on here answering all these questions. But thanks again, and we will see you soon.
Yeah, thank you guys. See ya.
Bye. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, Miss Ashley.
Bye.
Bye, Ben. Bye.